afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Watson Stadium. It's time for Hobbs Eagle Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. I'm TJ Miracle. Hope you are doing well on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. It is the 5A quarterfinals as the 4th-seeded Hobbs Eagles welcoming in the 12th-seeded Cleveland Storm. For the Hobbs Eagles, they won district with a perfect district mark, 6-0. Their last game, of course, a win in their match against Carlsbad last week to improve to 6-0 and to lock up the first-round bye. For the visiting Cleveland Storm, they are 10-16-5 overall on the season. They are 2-3-3. That's what they finished their district record up at. Now, their last game was against Albuquerque High School in the first round of the 5A playoffs, and they defeated Albuquerque 1-0 in that ball game. They snuck in as the 12th seed, but they are the number 9th ranked team in the state of New Mexico. These two teams have met previously, almost 2 months ago now, here at Watson Stadium. It was a 1-1 tie. The one tie on Hobbs' record was against this Cleveland Storm right here at Watson Stadium back on the 10th of September. Of course, the winner of this ball game will move on to take on the number 1 Volcano Vista Hawks. That game is scheduled for Wednesday. And then, of course, the winner of that will move on to the championship on November the 5th. So looking forward to this one here today. Of course, as we mentioned, the Eagles 16-3-1 on the season are number 4 overall in Class 5A. Alejandro Chavez is the head coach. He's assisted by Shane McCawkin and Maria Reynolds. For the Cleveland Storm, as we mentioned, 10-16-5 overall on the year. Their head coach is Sean Gill. Assistants Andrew Burlingame, Fernando Chavez, Andrew Hinkle, Parker Jones, and Garrett York. For the Eagles, they will be in the home black kits with the white letters and numbers. For the Cleveland Storm, they are in the road whites with the, I'm not even sure, it's a bright Columbia blue for the letters and numbers on this one. Of course, the keepers will be wearing slightly different colored jerseys. Looks like yellow for the Cleveland Storm. And on the keepers for the Hobbs Eagles, looks like the bright Hobbs yellow. So looking forward to this one. The Eagles looking to punch their ticket on to the semifinals on Wednesday, as are the Cleveland Storm for that matter. And then, of course, hopefully moving on to the championship game 1 week from today. So the teams have been introduced out onto the field, and we are just about ready to go. A gorgeous Saturday here at Watson Stadium for this match. 62 degrees at kickoff, and hoping for a great match today. Thanks for tuning in wherever you happen to be around the world on HobbsAmerica.com and on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Our coverage this afternoon is brought to you exclusively by J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. J&J Rentals and Credo Energy now hiring. Contact them at 7807 North World Drive here in Hobbs, or for more information on their open positions, 575-391-0250. Of course, J&J Rentals providing portable toilets, trash trailers, roll-offs, and more. So appreciate J&J Rentals and Credo Energy making it possible for us to purchase the rights to this game. This game is presented under the auspices of the New Mexico Activities Association, with rights purchased exclusively by New Walmart Broadcasting, New Walmart Digital Solutions, and One Radio Square Sports. So the team's getting their final instructions as we get ready for the beginning of the 5A quarterfinals. Both of these teams hoping to move on and keep their seasons alive. As we continue on through it, let's go ahead and take a quick look and just run down the rosters for you. For the Cleveland Storm, they got number 0, Dylan Whitmire. He's a freshman goalkeeper. Number 17, Joaquin Armijo, a sophomore goalkeeper. Number 1, Mario Montoya. He's a midfielder. Number 2, Christian DiPolito, a senior. Number 3, Jack Marshall, a senior. Number 4, Isaiah Parrish, a sophomore midfielder. Number 5, Isaac Hendricks, a junior midfielder. Number 6, Evan McNamara, a senior defenseman. Number 7, D'Angelo Fimalita, a senior midfielder. Number 8, Damian Murillo Aguilar, a senior defenseman. Number 9, Brian Ramirez, a senior. Number 10, junior midfielder Dominic Aguilar. Number 11 is senior forward Ethan Wingfield. Number 12 is sophomore midfielder Austin Clark. Number 13 is junior defenseman John Murray. Number 14, junior midfielder Emmanuel Ruiz. Number 15, defenseman sophomore Juan Ramirez. Number 16 is junior Noah Rolls. Number 18 is senior midfielder Justin Cantrell. And number 19 is senior defenseman Jonathan Vasquez. For the Hobbs Eagles, number 00 is sophomore goalkeeper Diego Castanon. Number 01 is senior goalkeeper Mizel Orona. And it looks like Arona will be starting in goal today. We'll run down the rest of the Hobbs roster as we move through this first half of play. Of course, 2 40-minute halves with a halftime period, and then if needed, 2 sudden death overtimes, which are 10 minutes apiece. Still not decided after that. We will go to the shootouts. And so the Hobbs Eagles look like they will control the ball first, and we are ready to go. A beautiful Saturday afternoon from Watson Stadium in Hobbs. NMAA quarterfinal action from here in Hobbs today, and we have it started, and it'll start with Adrian Sanchez for Hobbs. Hobbs going to move it in, a bouncing ball towards the goalkeeper down in the other end, and it'll be side out. Last touched, I've got to think, by the Cleveland Storm. Knocked out by Evan McNamara, so it will be Hobbs on the throw-in, as it'll be Sanchez. That'll be Ryan Middleton to throw it in for the Eagles as he backs up all the way onto the track. The camera works a little bit wonky. I am working by myself today. McNamara will throw it in on the set play, and it'll be headed out. McNamara will get it right back, and he will just move it over and into the middle. A couple of Storm players colliding with each other. Hobbs is going to be on the attack today. Pretty good collision right there on the field, and it'll be knocked out and saved by the Cleveland Storm. So Hobbs working on it, and a steal at midfield, moving it to Jesus Lopez, who's just going to corral it around, loses the ball, a turnover, moves through, McNamara with it, and he'll kick it over to Dominic Aguilar. Hobbs will get it back, though, as they continue to move through, as Yahir Chacon will control it in the midfield. Getting it out to the far right wing, and ball in free space, and Hobbs with a nice little move getting it through. Is coming up is Chacon, feeding it over to the far left side, trying to get Ryan Middleton. Middleton puts it back in the middle, and it will be turned over. Cleveland ball. Cleveland controls on the far side, trying to get it into the midfield, and Hobbs' defensemen and midfielders doing a nice job taking that one away from him. Hobbs again still on the attack and going to look to continue the attack. Things stall out about the 40. Yeah, this, of course, Watson Stadium, as most stadiums are, lined for the American version of football. So back now to McNamara, and he'll just put up a free ball that Hobbs will kick away. Moving forward, trying to find a little room is Josh Chavez, pardon me. Chavez continues to control, takes it into the middle of the field as he and a Cleveland Storm player fighting pretty hard, and an outlet trying to get it to Christian DiPolito, and it'll go out, and it'll be Hobbs' ball from the midfield stripe. So we'll throw in on the out as Sanchez will toss it in, and stolen away by a member of the Storm, and will immediately bounce and come out. So it'll stay Hobbs' ball again right around midfield. Sanchez throws it in again. It'll be knocked away by DiPolito. He keeps it himself, but Hobbs will steal it away down around the 20-yard line. Coming back is Chacon, trying to get it into the right wing, but it will sail a little bit wide. Going over to get that will be Jack Marshall, and he'll throw it, and it stays in on the far sideline. So now Cleveland controls, trying to find a man breaking into the open field, and instead it'll go out, and it'll become Hobbs' ball. They were trying to get DiPolito a move from the left to the right side, and just a little bit too much on the kick, so Hobbs' ball in their own end for the Eagles. So inbounding in, I believe that'll be Sanchez. Sanchez will throw it in right along the line, but it'll be controlled by the Cleveland Storm and number 14, Emmanuel Ruiz. So out on Hobbs and DiPolito to throw it in. Cleveland trying to find their first good offensive pressure of the game. They'll toss it deep into the backfield, and it'll be kicked away over towards the goal, but not before it goes out. So it'll be Hobbs' ball on the end line. just underway. First half of this 5A quarterfinal matchup. Inbounding it for the Eagles. They'll give it to Arona, the goalkeeper. And he will just boot it out of there. Again, no score. Winner of this ball game will move on into the 5A semis on Wednesday, as Arona will kick it out. It's it out past midfield. Attempted header by Cleveland. Has a pretty good battle, but Middleton loses the battle. Cleveland with it and trying to save it on the far side and almost managing to. Instead, Hobbs will take it away. Now it'll be up to the defenseman to try and move it forward. Both teams just still trying to feel each other out. Hobbs has had some decent offensive pressure early, but no shots on goal as of yet. It'll go back to the Cleveland keeper, who will just boot it solidly out. It'll be taken by Austin Clark for the Storm around the 40-yard line. Moves it back and trying to get it over to the far side. They will, as Cleveland continues to control, trying to get it in the middle. Hobbs defense does a nice job shutting things down in the middle. A hard kick, but it'll be blocked away by one of the Hobbs defensive backs, as the team's just trading possession around the 40-yard line. So coming near side to DiPolito, running back towards the middle, but he'll lose it away. A steal by the Hobbs Eagles, as taking it is Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez moving backwards, and Hobbs will just kick it away and try and free it up. Now back into the control of the Cleveland Storm. Storm taking it up the left wing, and a long outlet pass to the corner. DiPolito takes it along the back line, but it'll go out, and it'll be Hobbs' ball. So Cleveland starting to get a little pressure in the Hobbs defensive end. 6 minutes gone here in the first period of this one, as the winner will move on to take on Volcano Vista on Wednesday. So Arona going to put it right on the A. They're on the box line. Hobbs is moving from the north to the south. Cleveland from the south to the north. Back out near midfield. Ball stays loose. Is a pretty good battle by Jorge Martinez and Joshua Vasquez, and a whistle sounds. And a foul going to be on the Eagles. So it'll go into the clutches of the Cleveland Storm, as Brian Ramirez will put it right about the 28-yard line if we're looking at the American football lines. Just nice reference points for those of us up here in the booth. So Ramirez will kick it into the middle, and an attempted header that will go wide. But a nice setup for the Cleveland Storm. So Hobbs has been playing in their defensive end just a little bit. Of course, these two teams did play to a 1-all tie in their match here back in September. Of course, a lot of things can change between then and now. Arona will kick it away back out towards midfield. Cleveland will control in the midfield. Now they're just going to back it up and try and find a little seam into the middle. Bounced off the chest and knocked back as the Storm continue to move through, as Emmanuel Ruiz takes it over to the far left wing, trying to get it to Austin Clark. Clark will lose it as the ball will go into stands, but you got to toss that one back. You don't get to keep them in high school. And Hobbs touched it last, so it will be Cleveland ball on the side out. As Cleveland tosses it in, a long pass, and Arona just going to watch that one go over the back line and all the way to the fences. So now he'll kick it in from his own line once again. No score in this one. 10 minutes gone here in this first period, as Arona will boot it away. Cleveland on the header. Gets it at midfield. Trying to find a little soft spot in Hobbs' zone. Cleveland not able to do that much yet. They will control. Nice kick back. So Cleveland controls on the near side with Evan McNamara. McNamara to Ruiz, then back to the middle to the defenseman. As controlling is Aguilar. Aguilar loses it, gets all the way back to the Cleveland keeper, and then back to midfield. Hobbs going to try and find a little offensive pressure. Taking it is Yahir Chacon. Little stutter step, a little hesitation. Waiting for some help. Gets past a couple of Cleveland Storm players into the middle. Hobbs not able to do anything with it, and Cleveland will kick it to safety. Now a potential breakaway for the Cleveland Storm. Moving forward, and just a long outlet pass that Hobbs is going to come up and take. So Chacon will control in the goalie box. So a good chance there for Cleveland. Is kicking it a little far out as Arona on the drop kick spins it out towards midfield. And Hobbs going to come up and head it over. Cleveland back with the ball. And big collision at midfield. As the Hobbs Eagles going to try and corral it and see what they can do with it. Jesus Hidalgo comes to the near side with Adrian Sanchez. Sanchez, and just a bad pass, and Cleveland will steal it away. It's cutting through, and a slide kick for the Eagles. And the ball will go out of bounds. And it'll be Hobbs' throw-in from the near side. 29:50 remaining here in the first period. Hobbs from midfield will toss it in. And a little bump on Josh Chavez for the Eagles, and the ball will go back out again. I apologize about the camera work. I'm working by myself this afternoon. But I'll do the best I can to keep up with the camera and to keep my mouth running. Ryan Middleton to throw it in for the Eagles. He stands back on the track and waits for the setup for the Hobbs squad as Middleton tosses it into the middle, and a header out by the Storm. That Hobbs will wind up controlling it out around the 20. Nice little move on the deke coming through the middle. And Cleveland going to take it back on a bounce as they're going to feed it forward, and Hobbs will just boot it out. As getting the foot on it was Humberto Hernandez, the junior defenseman. So Cleveland on the side out to inbound from in front of the Hobbs bench. Both teams still just kind of trying to feel each other out. Cleveland has had some better looks at things than Hobbs. But only one shot on goal so far for either team. As Hobbs going to feed it well back, trying to get somebody back, Cleveland. And just boot it back towards midfield. As they'll try and set something up as the ball comes near side. Hobbs will try and control it with Lopez. Almost loses it. He will keep it and just feed it back to one of his defensemen. So Hobbs going to reset and try something here as they feed it down, trying to get it to Josh Chavez. At Cleveland will kick it to safety with McNamara. Go back to the midfield with Sanchez. Feeds it into the middle. Cleveland will steal it away as Ruiz intercepted the pass and just feeds it back. Right now, ball movement much better for the Storm than for the Eagles. So coming near side with McNamara. And Hobbs going to steal it away at the midfield. Is coming through as Alexis Sanchez. And another steal as Cleveland controls on the defense. Jorge Martinez, far side. Martinez manages to take it away. Slides down on the field, and they're going to call a foul on Cleveland. So it'll be Hobbs' ball. 27 minutes remaining, first half, 2 40-minute halves. No score as of yet in this one from Watson Stadium. So it'll be Hobbs soccer ball from just shy of midfield. 50 on the marker. And, of course, 60 on a soccer pitch. As I should remember, it's a pitch, not a field in soccer. This is what happens when you let the football and basketball guy do soccer. No, the kick down into the Hobbs offensive end, the Cleveland defensive end. Comes back to the middle, a little chest bump. Hobbs continuing to try and find something. Cleveland doing a nice job keeping Hobbs out of everything, and it'll be an out on Hobbs. Just sliding down, trying to get to it is Ivan Segovia. And he touches it last, and so it'll go out. Nope, they're going to say that Hobbs will maintain possession. So on that far side, looks like number 13, Middleton. I do like the white numbers on the black uniforms. Much easier for me to pick up than the Columbia blue on the white. Doing the best I can. So into the middle, Hobbs trying to get the set play, and it'll be kicked away to safety by the Cleveland Storm. So a header trying to get Middleton, but too much as it'll go out off the track and back into the hands of the Storm. Of course, the thing about soccer, clock never stops. There will be some added time at the end of each half. And so the inbound, Hobbs trying to get to it and just going to boot it away is Martinez. And we will have a foul called at about the 28-yard line. So it'll go back to the Cleveland Storm. And the Storm going to come near side on the kick with DiPolito. DiPolito makes a nice little move, trying to weave through traffic as Hobbs collapses in on him. But it'll be stolen away by the Eagles. That's Jesus Hidalgo. Hidalgo back to one of his defensemen. That's Martinez. Martinez coming near side to Jesus Lopez. Then Lopez near sideline to Adrian Sanchez, who's just going to leave it off for Lopez. Hobbs playing in the midfield. And now Sanchez to control. Gets it back off of a pass. And Cleveland will take it away. Kind of a lazy pass. Trying to get to that was Chavez. And so the two teams right now just trading possessions a little bit in the middle portion of the pitch. So the back pass is Hobbs going to feed it down, trying to get Chavez on the runner. Cleveland gets to it first. Ball will go out on the far side. And it'll be Hobbs soccer ball. Middleton will inbound it out around the 20-yard line. Hobbs trying to find some sustained offensive pressure. So off the throw-in, Hobbs going to line up. Still just one shot in the game, and that belongs to the Storm. On the throw-in, comes down near the goalie box, but Cleveland will kick it back to safety as Sanchez controls it, keeps it himself, trying to find a little room through the middle, was knocked away by one of the Storm players. Keeping it is Jesus Lopez, and it'll be a side out as kicked away by DiPolito. So back playing defense, Damian Murillo Aguilar for the Storm. No score here in the first half of this 5A semifinal matchup. Middleton comes across the field. He'll inbound for the Eagles. So on the throw-in, trying to get it into the middle. Ball bounces. Cleveland trying to get themselves a little working room. They will. They will just boot it out and boot it to safety. The man flying and knocked out around the 40. So on the out, it'll be Cleveland ball on the throw-in. Neither team able to find just a whole lot of working room in the early going. To the midfielders as Hobbs will steal it away. And Cleveland pretty much takes it just right back. Coming to the near side with McNamara, and he'll send it down towards the Hobbs goal as Arona going to be active out there, come out and take it. They were trying to get Vasquez for Cleveland. Trying to get him a angled shot. So Cleveland will take it back. Hobbs has spent most of their time in this one working in the midfield. Neither team's thus far able to get just a whole lot going. So Arona control. Hobbs working in their defensive end, and a bad pass and not able to be controlled, so give it back to the Storm. 22 and a half minutes remaining, first half. Eagles and the Storm from Watson Stadium here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel and HobbsAmerica.com. I'm TJ Miracle. Our coverage from our friends at J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. J&J Rentals, Credo Energy, now hiring. Give them a call, 391-0250. That's 575-391-0250. Or go see them at 7807 North World in Hobbs. Hobbs trying to get a little breakaway going as the Eagles weave through traffic. Controlling it is Chavez. Gets knocked off the ball, and it'll come back to DiPolito near midfield. Centering pass onto the far side with Ruiz. And Cleveland just going to settle things down as we got a big bump right at the 50-yard line. As coming over for the Eagles, I believe that was Evan Segovia, who just bodied one of the Storm off. And so the Storm will retake possession. Working the far side of the field. Storm work it. And sending towards goal, but well away from everything. So Hobbs, it'll be Their ball in their own defensive end as McNamara just kicked that one away. Pretty good crowd on hand for the Eagles. A few Storm faithful making the trek this afternoon from Albuquerque to here in southeast New Mexico. So Arona will send the ball in. Kicks it back out towards the midfield. And it'll wind up on the foot of one of the Eagles. Trying to feed it forward. Ball bouncing and will go out of bounds, but I think it'll be Hobbs' ball because last touch should be by Cleveland. Now they're going to say Hobbs touched it last, so back into the hands of the Storm, but deep in their own end. The Storm inbounding, but Hobbs winding up with the soccer ball, but giving it right back to the Storm. That's Ramirez. Ramirez at the midfield. Comes near side, and it'll be stolen away by the Eagles. And a long cross pitch kick is out of bounds. So back to the Storm. Right at the halfway mark of this first period. From here at Watson Stadium, the winner moves on to the semifinals on Wednesday. The loser, their season is over. Well, the Storm inbound it. And will be in the Hobbs offensive end. Hobbs going to body off one of the Storm. The Hobbs faithful not liking it, but it will go back to the Storm. As number 10, Dominic Aguilar, going to check the bindings. And so he'll kick it from around the 23-yard line. He checks the shoes this time. Neither team playing with just a whole lot of urgency in the early going. Hobbs not able to do much. The defenders have had a good game thus far, but the forwards and the attackers have not had any luck running against the Cleveland defenders. As it'll come in and it'll bounce away and go out the back line. And I think they're going to let Cleveland have it. Yep, they're going to say it was off of the spikes of one of the Eagles, so it'll be Cleveland ball on the corner kick. So I'm going to try and bend this one around and see if they can get their second shot on goal. So it comes in, and the header is going to be wide and will go out. And so Hobbs should take it back in their own end zone. 18:30 remaining, first half. There will be a little extra time added at the end of the first and the second half. As Arona will put it down and prepare to kick things away. And Arona will take it out. Good leg for Arona, as is most goalkeepers. And Hobbs will control a little over-the-head kick back to the 40, but will be taken over by the Storm. To the near side to DiPolito. Just work the midfield, and they're going to send it forward, trying to get one of the Storm breaking. And it'll be out. And just feeding it a little in front of that Storm attacker. He'll turn around. I'll catch his number for you. That's Vasquez, number 19. Or, I'm sorry, that's number 10. That's Dominic Aguilar. So Arona, he's had to do a lot of kicking. Cleveland has spent a lot more time in their end than the Eagles have spent on the Storm's end. So Arona can kick it away, and Cleveland gets it back, but contested at midfield. Oh, Martinez feeds it, and then a little back pass coming to Chacon. Chacon sends it weakly towards the Cleveland goal. Striking through was Chavez. But he doesn't get there before the keeper. That may be Waymeyer. He'll kick it out, and Hobbs will take it. At Cleveland on a battle, and yep, we're going to have a foul on Hobbs. As going to the turf is number 9, Brian Ramirez. So back to the foot of the Cleveland Storm. Out near the 40-yard line. With 16 plus remaining in the first half. It comes through, and Arona going to come up and just take it himself out in front of the goalie box. As As Cleveland will drop back in defense. And Arona will scissor kick away. Ball bounces around the 40 and will go out, and it'll stay Hobbs ball on the far side. Well, great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon. The Fuddruckers 2022 NMAA State Soccer Tournament. The 5A quarterfinals here today. Winner will move on to take on Volcano Vista on Wednesday. 15 and change remaining in the first half. Still no score from here at Watson Stadium. It is Hobbs soccer ball. And the throw in from the far side. Tossing it towards the goal. And Hobbs controls, but a little bit of a misfire from Chavez. He had a good look at it, but just couldn't quite pull the trigger. And Cleveland going to quickly get it out of the way. So Hobbs missing a great opportunity for their first shot on goal. Hobbs will get it back with Sanchez. Gets it over to the far side. Trying to take it is Middleton. Middleton, a pretty good battle over there. Will save it out. Ball going to continue to fly around. And just a little pop shot by Martinez towards the goal. And coming over is going to be Waymeyer. And he will kick it out of harm's way. Back to midfield. Hobbs will come up and take it. And controlled by Hidalgo. Working it up the far sideline. Middleton loses it. And then it'll be kicked away. And that was McNamara on the far side kicking it away. Well, it wouldn't be McNamara, so there he is. No, that was Aguilar, number 10. As the ball will come back in near midfield. Cleveland controls. And neither team able to get just a whole lot going as they come into the box as they were trying to get again Aguilar, who found a little soft spot. Pardon me, that was Vasquez, a little soft spot in the Eagle defense. Had a chance but couldn't get to it. There's a pretty good battle going to go out, and last touched by the Eagles on the far side. 13:45 to go, first half. Both teams still trying to find the back of the net. Only one shot on goal, and that came from the Cleveland Storm. I'm not even sure that was an official shot because it went wide. As the ball will go out about the 45 in Eagle territory. It'll be Hobbs football. So the Eagles to inbound it on the far sideline. So throwing it in as Sanchez feeds it into trouble. Cleveland takes it away, but then Hobbs takes it back, but then Cleveland will take it right back. They work the far sideline, and that one is going to keep rolling, and roll out. So Hobbs will have the throw in. It'll come in, but right to one of the Storm players, and they're going to feed it back to their defense. Hobbs will come in, back to Whitmire, and Hobbs will take it. A golden opportunity, but good hustle play by the Storm to take it away. As we work back towards the midfield, now Cleveland trying to get something moving, and Hobbs, a nice little slide tackle takeaway by Hernandez. Hernandez stops just shy of midfield. Waits for some reinforcements as Cleveland will pick him up. As they're going to come near side, and the ball going to go out, and it'll go back onto the foot of the Storm. Looks like McNamara to inbound it. Cleveland will have a sub checking in. It does appear. As coming out will be Vasquez. And checking in his place will be D'Angelo Famafaletta. And the throw in, they're trying to get Famafaletta, who just checked in, and the ball will go out. So it'll become Hobbs' ball on the throw in. Coming over to collect it is Sanchez, freshman defenseman. Clock continues to move. 11:30 to go here in the first half of play. No score. Eagles and the Storm in the 5A quarterfinals. Of course, the 4A quarterfinals going on today in Lovington. They're taking on Santa Teresa. Best of luck to the Lovington Wildcats. On the out, throw in will still be Hobbs. Again, the Storm playing much more aggressively, is checking out for the Eagles is Ivan Segovia. And checking in his place, that's Omar Patton, number 21. So Patton checking in. They'll throw it in, and the header going to come right back out, and it'll stay Hobbs soccer ball. So we'll do a throw in again. As tossing it in will be Sanchez, and he'll get it back off the header. Trying to get it towards the middle, and Cleveland will take over. Trying to get somebody running. That is Fema Faletta. He'll feed it across the pitch, and it'll go out. A little miscommunication there between Fema Faletta and Marshall. So Hobbs will get the throw in. Back beside their own bench. 10 minutes remaining here in the first half. And on the inbound, it's going to be batted around. Both teams still trying to get solid possession. To Marshall. Just going to pop it forward. The Eagles headed out, but Marshall will take it off the head and working near side. Hobbs will take it away as Patton will have it near side. As he works one-on-one against Fema Faletta. Tries to get it to the middle, but stolen away by the Storm. Hobbs defense, though, right there on him. Fema Faletta off the bench. And it'll be kicked away and out, and Fema Faletta will inbound it from the near side. But Cleveland trying to get a little pressure in the Hobbs defensive zone. On the throw-in. Will come away, and Patton will take it out around the 20. Patton leaves it off. And the kickback for one of the defensemen. That's Hernandez. Cleveland right now just playing a lot more aggressive game than the Hobbs Eagles are. Of course, when you're the number 12 team in the state, you have a losing record at 10-16-5. You're playing with house money at this point. Hobbs needs to pick the intensity up for sure with 8:45 remaining of regular time in the first half. That'll be Hobbs ball on the throw-in. And it'll come in to Sanchez. He's going to bring it near side to Sanchez. Alexis to Adrian. And then number 18, Andrick Morales. The ball going to be booted away by the Storm and out of danger. A little miscommunication on the inbound. Hidalgo will get it. Take it back to Arona. Arona going to have to do a little ball handling to get it out of trouble. And he'll just bounce it on down the field. Ball going to be popped up right at midfield and lands in no man's land. Finally, Hobbs gets the first touch on it. On the near side to Morales, then up to Chacon. And we're going to have a foul called up around the 30-yard line. And I believe that will be on the Storm. It will be. So now Hobbs with a chance to do a little something, if they can, from the Cleveland defensive zone, or the Hobbs offensive zone, if you will. They're going to change the balls out. Well, it'll be in the control of Alexis Sanchez. Hobbs going to line up, try and get a set play in front of the net. So Sanchez going to speak with one of the officials. A little stoppage time here, 7:50 remaining, and they actually stopped the clock with 7:56 to go. I guess they're keeping the stoppage time on the stoppage. It should restart. Yep, there it'll go. And we'll restart on the kick. Sanchez kicks it towards the goal, and the first shot on goal is a 40-yard kick that'll be blocked away by Whitmire. And so it'll be Hobbs' ball, though, as it's knocked to safety. So Hobbs trying to get their first sustained pressure. Throwing it in will be Jorge Martinez, the junior for the Eagles. Martinez directs traffic, then tosses it towards the goal. And the header going to wind up on the ground. Patton fighting in. Yep, we're going to have a foul in the end zone as Patton just running over one of the Storm players. You can see plays like that in this stadium a lot, but normally they're on the football side of the pitch. So the Storm keeper will kick it out. And boots it out. Still no score. As Hobbs will wind up controlling near midfield. Taking it up is Chacon, weaving through traffic. Still weaving. Takes it out to the right side and kicked away for safety purposes. Sanchez will come up, get it to Patton, and a long kick, and that one will be wide. Second shot made by the Eagles, and it'll go wide. And so back to the Storm. So it'll be Storm ball. Again, I believe that is Waymeyer in their goal. Both of their goalies listed at number 0, but they do have Armillo also wearing 17. Go back out to near midfield. The Storm will control. The Eagles faithful trying to get a little chant going, trying to get things, get a little energy into the Eagles. The Storm will boot it towards midfield. And they will control. Bringing it up, moving through traffic is going to be DiPolito. And DiPolito tries to weave through one too many times and saved by Humberto Hernandez. And it'll be out. And so the throw in, I believe, will be for the Storm on the far sideline. 5:25 to go here in the first half. Marshall will leave it off. We got a sub coming into the ball game. His out will be Emma Falletta for the Storm. And I believe that is Noah Rolls coming in. As Rolls will take it to Marshall, and then they'll just work it back across the field. So back to the defenseman as the Storm going to try and regroup. Right now just playing a keep-away game. On the long kick down the field, it'll get through. Finally, Hobbs hits the head on it. And Hobbs not taking a lot of time to try and set anything up. It's allowed Cleveland much more on the attack time, and kicked away and out by number 9, Martinez. So over to the Storm. They're going to let Fama Falletta. He will do the throw in. And now the Cleveland fans trying to get some energy in. Off the header, Patton will knock it away. And Hobbs now going to try and mount a late half rally to Patton up the far sideline. Feeds it forward and just a little miscommunication. But it'll be controlled by the Eagles. Back to the midfield stripe. Hobbs ball with Sanchez. Sanchez to Chacon. He's just going to have to feed it back. Cleveland increasing their midfield pressure. Hobbs trying to find a way to just work the ball forward. So up the far sideline, good chance here if Hobbs can get a bit of a angle on it, and it'll be off the top of the goal and out and back to Cleveland. So the best chance really for either team in this first half as the shot goes wide for the Eagles on the far sideline. That young man will turn around. I'll get you his name. Numbers on the front of the kit fairly small. See, that may be, yeah, that's Middleton over there, number 13. So it'll be Cleveland ball. And their keeper, that's Waymeyer, will send it back in. Again, both teams just kind of feeling each other out here in the first half. Only one real good chance for either team, and we've got a collision in front of the Hobbs bench, and it'll be out, and Cleveland ball on the throw-in. 2.5 remaining, first half, no score from here at Watson Stadium. Both teams playing fairly tight and fairly good defense. Cleveland's probably had more attack time than Hobbs, but really only one decent look at a shot on goal, and that was early in the half. And so the inbound goes out. Hobbs will take it away, but it'll be a Cleveland throw-in. On the far side, that's Ramirez to throw it in. He'll toss it towards the middle. And off the header is Arona going to come over and knock it away. But Cleveland going to come in and they shoot it in, but it'll be off the side of the goal, but a whistle sounded before the shot. So in the danger zone for Hobbs. And it'll go back to the Eagles. 2 minutes exactly remaining here in the half. A back and forth first half with neither team really able to get just much going. Arona will kick it out, and we will restart the time over the head of Middleton, but off the foot of Chavez. And we will have a side out. Chavez trying to tiptoe the sidelines. So it'll be a throw-in for the Storm. And so the throw-in, and they haven't gotten the clock restarted yet. I may be saying this is now extra time, but I don't think so. As Hobbs boots it out. Back to midfield. And Cleveland just going to control. Clock still stopped at 2 minutes. I don't know how much time we actually have. And no indication of extra time. And a slide on the ball, and we will have a whistle sound. And so Hobbs will have it on the foul. Arona going to come up, and he's going to take the kick from the 20-yard line, it would appear. Still no score late in the first half here at Watson Stadium, as the Storm just going to pretty much drop everybody back into the defensive zone. Arona's definitely got the leg to put it way down there deep, and we'll have a whistle sound. And that'll be the end of the first half. So we have played a half here at Watson Stadium in Hobbs. No score in this 5A quarterfinal matchup between the number 4 Hobbs Eagles and the number 12 Cleveland Storm. So halftime we go. And a quick reminder, our coverage today is brought to you exclusively by our friends at J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. For portable toilets, trash trailers, roll-offs, holding tanks, and more, the good folks at J&J Rentals. Good folks to know. Of course, J&J Rentals, Credo Energy, always looking for great folks to join their team. So find out more on the J&J Rentals Facebook page, or you can give them a call, 575-391-0250, or go see them at 7807 North World Drive. J&J Rentals, proud supporters of Hobbs Eagle Athletics and all Hobbs sports. So a 10-minute halftime period. I'm going to take a quick timeout, and we'll come back in a few minutes for the start of the second half. This is Hobbs Eagle Playoff Soccer from J&J Rentals and Credo Energy on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Please give us a subscription, and also on the Hobbs tab at hobbsamerica.com. And welcome back to Hobbs Eagles Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Please subscribe and tell your family and friends. And on HobbsAmerica.com, our coverage of this 5A quarterfinal matchup is brought to us exclusively by J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. 7807 North World Drive in Hobbs, now hiring. Give them a call, 575-391-0250, or find them on Facebook, J&J Rentals, for portable toilets, trash trailers, roll-offs, holding tanks, and more. The good folks at J&J Rentals, proud supporters of Hobbs Eagle Athletics and the Lee County community. I'm TJ Miracle from high above Watson Stadium this afternoon. No score in this quarterfinal matchup between the Eagles and the Storm. Neither team able to really get any sustained offensive pressure going in the first half. Each team, only with one shot on goal. So not a lot of opportunities for either team. The defenses have dominated thus far in this one. Our presentation this afternoon is under the auspices of the New Mexico Activities Association, with video rights purchased by New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports. Of course, this is a copyrighted broadcast, and no portion may be used without the express written permission of New Walmart Broadcasting Corporation. So the two teams have returned to the pitch and are getting their final instructions from head coach Alejandro Chavez for the Eagles and head coach Sean Gill for the Storm. As the Storm doing a little bit more warm-up. The Eagles, if they want to move on to take on Volcano Vista on Wednesday, are going to have to find much more sustained pressure here in this second half. Of course, these two teams battled to a 1-1 tie in their match back in September. So just going to be important, I think, whichever team can come out and can find a little early momentum here in the second half. I think that may very well determine who is going to be victorious in this matchup and move on and keep their season alive. Of course, this isn't the only Lee County soccer match this afternoon up in Lovington. The Lovington Wildcats, number one team in Class 4A. They are taking on the Santa Teresa Warriors. Best of luck to the Wildcats. Hopefully, if they win that game on tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, hopefully we'll have that on the Lovington Sports YouTube channel coming up on Wednesday. Our coverage of the Hobbs team a lot of it will determine where that matchup would be. Orona going to stay in the goal for the Eagles. And it looks like it will be Armijo in the cage for the Storm. That is number 17. And I think I saw that as number 0 in the first half. Bright orange jersey with white numbers, a little hard to pick up. So it'll be Storm ball as we start this second half of action. Of course, if neither team scores or if we're tied at the end of regulation, we'll have two 10-minute sudden death overtime periods. And if that's still not enough to decide it, it will move into a 5-person shootout. So just underway, second half, no scores. The ball immediately out. So it'll be a Hobbs throw-in from their own backfield. He's finally retrieving the ball and just taking his time, trotting up is Hernandez. He throws it into traffic, and Cleveland will get the ball back, and it'll go out. It'll stay Hobbs ball. It'll be Middleton to throw it in from the near sideline. Hobbs trying to get guys back towards the goal, find a little pressure. Again, each team with just one shot in that first half as Middleton will toss it in, and off the header, finds through, comes back to Middleton, weaves it towards the middle, and he'll kick it into the middle, but it'll be stopped by Armijo. That may be the best look either team has had at the goal so far. Middleton gets off a good shot, but right at Armijo, and he will kick it away. And Hobbs will take it over. A little bit of pressure in the backfield, and the Storm will wind up controlling it. Hobbs coming up, and we will have a foul called on Hobbs as a push off there by Martinez. sent one of the Storm to the ground. I believe that was their number 9, Ramirez. So the two 9s going at it. Back in the Hobbs defensive zone as Ramirez will kick it towards the goal, and it'll go over and out. And so back to the Hobbs Eagles. With 38 minutes remaining in regulation time. Had a couple of balls go off pretty much over towards the street, having to be retrieved. So now Arona will put it on the outside of the B in the goalie box. And he will kick it out. And we'll get things back underway. Makes a funny bounce in at the midfield. Cleveland trying to control it, but it'll be the Eagles who wind up with the ball. Feed it forward, trying to find a man streaking through. Knocked away by the Storm. Hobbs playing a little more aggressively here at the start of this second half as the Eagles weave through, trying to find a little room for Chavez. Chavez, though, with 3 Storm players on him, not much he can do. And it's still going to be in the foot of Chavez. And finally, Cleveland going to kick it out of harm's way. It'll wind up on the far sideline and out towards the middle as the Eagles continue to try and create a little pressure. Chacon has it kicked away on the far side. DiPolito, but back to Hobbs. The Eagles on the far side trying on the centering pass. And it is kicked away and out of trouble, back out towards the midfield. Hobbs putting the pressure on as DiPolito leaves it over onto the far side. Cleveland trying to get a little run. It's a foot race down the far sideline. Nice little stop and go. Moving it out to the middle and trying to find a man coming up as they'll wind up on the foot of Marshall. Marshall puts it in, and it'll be a big save as knocked away at the last possible second by Arona. And the Eagles dodge a bullet. Each team with a good look there as Marshall, the senior forward, had it in. I think that may have actually gone off the crossbar. So each team dodging a bullet, and it'll be a corner kick for the Cleveland Storm. I kind of apologize about the camera work. I am working solo here this afternoon. So on the corner kick and knocked away by Arona, but right in front of the net. Hobbs trying to do anything they can to get it away. Cleveland with some good pressure. Little hesitation move and back towards the goal and knocked away by Arona again. And Hobbs finally going to boot it away back out towards midfield. Hobbs faithful appreciating the good defensive stand, especially by Arona, as Cleveland with a couple of shots. Hobbs back the other way, and it'll be a soft bouncer that Armijo will take in. So the sustained pressure, Cleveland moved everybody up, and so it gave Hobbs the opportunity back down the field. And a chance for Josh Chavez to get a shot on goal. So each team picking up the intensity just a bit. And so it'll be Hobbs on the throw-in. Cleveland with it, and just going to be booted away by Ramirez. So back in Hobbs' end of the field. Cleveland will control. Hobbs comes up. Cleveland just going to boot it back, try and get a little bit of running room to go. As they get a little seam coming through and knocked away at the last minute. Nice job on the defensive end by Hernandez, as he'll just have to kick it away to safety. And back onto the foot of the Storm. Oh, into the middle. As Middleton will come to the middle, and he'll challenge with Marshall, and Marshall going to go down hard, and he's holding the ankle. And a foul on Hobbs. Of course, Marshall got one of the big shots that was saved away by Arona. So he's up and he's okay. And official going to have a word with Ryan Middleton at around the 20-yard line. So it'll be a free kick for Jack Marshall. And I think he is going to put it towards the goal. Pardon me, that is not Marshall. That is number 10, Aguilar. So Aguilar going to kick it, takes it towards the goal, and gets through all the way to Arona, who winds up with the stop. And He'll kick a high free ball back out. As Chavez comes over, he challenges. Hobbs will get the ball back. Eagles move it. And to Middleton on the near side. Comes up the wing, tries to take it back towards the middle, but will get the ball taken away from him out around the 20-yard line. Fed back out of harm's way for the Storm. Hobbs will get it back and will try and go back on the attack in front of their own bench. Again, both teams just picking up the intensity as that'll go out, and it'll be Hobbs' ball on the throw-in. 32 minutes remaining in regulation. No score yet in this 5A quarterfinal match between the number 4 Eagles and the number 12 Storm. The Storm were the 12th team in, but they are the number 9 ranked team in the Max Preps poll at the end of the season. So slightly better than a number 12 would have you indicate. Of course, the way the rules and things work, the Storm down in their district, so they couldn't go into the playoffs in front of anybody who was in front of them in their own district. So Middleton will throw the ball in as he'll toss it towards the goal, and Cleveland going to get through to the head. Middleton gets it back, feeds it back towards the middle, and Cleveland just feeds it out. Now Cleveland going to try and get some pressure moved as into the Hobbs end. Is giving chase for Cleveland is Imelita. Hobbs back the other way with Chacon to Sanchez. Feed it forward. Sanchez trying to get it to Chavez. And coming out and making the grab is Armijo. Armijo, the sidearm sling near side. As down come the Storm again. As sliding down, number 13. It's John Murray. Well, Hobbs will take the ball back. I think both teams just going to take maybe a minute and try and regroup. There's a nifty little move trying to come through traffic is DiPolito, but Hobbs will take it back. And feeding it forward, trying to get Chavez, but Cleveland is there in their end of the field. Well, Hobbs with the bump off as the ball will squirt out near side off of a Cleveland Storm player. So it'll be betting Middleton to throw it back in from the near sideline. Check that, Ivan Zagovia. Looks like he'll come over for the throw-in. 30 minutes remaining in regulation as Segovia tosses in, but Cleveland there to intercept the throw-in. Hobbs will take it back and just boot it back towards the Cleveland goal by Hidalgo. Middleton off the chest, feeds it into the middle, trying to find a little running room and sent towards the net and light the lamp! The score made by Yahir Chacon. Chacon with the goal, and the Eagles go up by a score of 1-0. That all got set up by Ryan Middleton as he took it off the chest and found a little bit of room in traffic, and then found an open Chacon who made a nifty little move and was able to take it with the right foot and bend it in around Armijo. So the goal for Yahir Chacon has put the Hobbs Eagles in front of this one, 1-0, 10 minutes gone in the second half. So at 9 minutes and 47 seconds of the second half, goal number 1 in the ball game. Hobbs had picked up the defensive pressure, or rather the offensive pressure and intensity, and finally got an open look at the goal, and Chacon will put it home. So the ball will be placed back in the block H on the center stripe here at Watson Stadium. And Cleveland will try and regroup. Hobbs up 1-0. Hobbs will need and want to keep the intensity up. You don't feel comfortable with a 1-0 lead. Sometimes there's no better motivator than a opposing team goal as the ball will go out of bounds. Fighting for it on the far side. It'll wind up staying with the Storm, and DiPolito will go over for the throw-in. And she's going to leave that off for, I believe, Marshall on the far side. No, Marshall's near side. So they'll throw it towards the middle, and it'll just be headed out by Hidalgo. Back out. Still in the Hobbs side of things. As Sanchez will control and just boot it away back towards midfield. So Chacon, who had the goal, takes it back and gets it taken away from him by DiPolito on the far side. He'll leave it off. Cleveland trying to work it towards the middle. He will control the ball out around the 20-yard line. Going to try and get themselves back into this one to the near side with Murray. As Murray gets a screen, but will be forced to pass it off. And now back to Murray, a little slide as he and Middleton going after it. As Marshall kicks it towards the middle, and we've got a big collision with Arona and one of the attackers for the Storm, and the ball will go out, and it should be Hobbs' ball. Well, he signaled Hobbs' ball, but it'll be Cleveland who will inbound it. And now Cleveland picking up the offensive intensity. So Hobbs trying to find some running room, and we will have a foul called as fighting hard, McNamara and Chavez on the far side. 28 minutes to go here in regulation. Hobbs leads 1-0. The winner moves on to the Final Four, the semifinals, on Wednesday against Volcano Vista, number 1 team in the state. Penalty Hobbs' ball as Chavez will send it deep into the offensive zone. And saved away by Cleveland as Marshall brings it up the near sideline. And a little slide knocked away by Martinez. So Marshall will inbound it, throw it in for the Storm. Both teams going to have to keep the intensity up, and the throw-in will actually be made by John Murray. Now Murray tosses into Rolls, who checked in late in the first half. Cleveland going to work the middle of the field. Now back to Rolls on the near side. Check that. That's Murray, number 13. Murray will send it towards the middle, and Hobbs will intercept it away. But it'll go right back into the clutches of the Storm. But Hobbs will steal it right back. Nice move there for Hernandez. He's had a good game on the defensive end. Hernandez controls around the 35 as he's in a battle with the Storm player. He'll go down. Cleveland will control, but then it'll be come over and taken away. But then taken right back by the Storm, and a long shot by DiPolito, and it is in from the 25-yard line as DiPolito will tie this game at 1 apiece. DiPolito with the goal at 13. If we're in hockey terms, it's 13-17 of the second half. And we are tied again on just a wing and a prayer shot from out about the 30-yard line. So a 40-yard shot, and Arona just got sleeping a little bit, I guess, on that one. Reacted a little bit late, and it goes into the back of the net. They'll bring the ball out, back out to the block H. And we are tied at 1 apiece on the DiPolito goal. So Hobbs will control. And it'll be interesting to see if the Eagles now can pick the intensity back up as we are knotted at 1 apiece. 26:30 remaining in regulation. Still working towards the middle. A lot of traffic in the middle of the pitch. Hobbs trying to find their way through with Sanchez. And I apologize about the camera. I am working solo this afternoon. As the Eagles control, and oh, wow, we got to have wow, no foul on that. Somehow Sanchez will get it forward. Feeds it, trying to get it for the Eagles. Chacon with it back in the deep corner. In a battle back there with one of the Cleveland Storm. And it'll be booted away, and we will have a whistle now. The Eagles and the Storm both wanting free kicks. Not sure if anybody's going to get one. Yep, they're going to give Cleveland a free kick. But they are deep in their own zone. Back about the 10-yard line. This was American football, be spotted at the 9. And that's where the free ball will come in. And it'll just be out and away, and it'll be a kick out of bounds. And the Boo Birds come out. 25 minutes remaining. So now it should be Hobbs ball in front of their own bench. As Coach Chavez wants to know, hey, wait a minute, whose ball is it, ours or theirs? And it'll be a throw-in for the Eagles from beside their own bench. As the Eagles going to move it into the offensive zone, a hold. As Chavez trying to get anything going. Nice slide tackle. But it'll be saved away by Cleveland and out. And a long cross-pitch kick. As Middleton with it, but in intense traffic, finds through, gets a little screen, puts it towards the net. It'll go just wide of the net. Middleton had a little look, but sent it just wide. Not sure it would have snuck through as Armillo was sucked up on the side of that goal. 24 minutes remaining and some barking on by some of the fans in attendance here this afternoon. And so it'll be the kick out for Armijo. As he'll send it out, but Hobbs will head it immediately back into the Cleveland zone and out. So the throw in from the near sideline will be made by John Murray. As the sun starts moving through the booth a little bit, warming up in here just a bit. Still about 64 degrees on a beautiful afternoon as Middleton will head it over. And it'll be kicked away to safety. Back out near midfield for Cleveland. Hobbs dropping their defenders back. Cleveland controls midfield. So coming to the near side with Marshall. Nifty little move, throws it away, and a late kick away for Hernandez. Side out. So the throw in for Cleveland would be made by Marshall. And then Marshall going to hand it off. And McNamara will throw it in. And tosses it in towards the goal. And it'll come back out, and the Eagles will wind up with it. On just the long free ball. Middleton collides with Rolls. Hobbs winds up controlling. Near side to Middleton as he will send it back to Segovia. So the Hobbs defense, they're going to just volley the ball around a little bit. As Cleveland picks up their pressure, and that one will go out in front of the Cleveland bench. It'll be Cleveland on the toss in. And a little header in front of the Cleveland bench. Cleveland winds up with it, but Hobbs takes it away. And both teams just kind of a little back and forth. Working in about a 40-yard space. As Murray takes it and gets it taken away from him. Murray and Middleton, the two 13s going after it. Still going after it out around the 40. And finally, Murray going to get the better of it and decide, man, let's try this a different way. So Cleveland with the ball. Into the Hobbs zone as Hobbs will take it. Cleveland's fans wanted a foul call, nothing doing. And so up to Marshall on the near side. So Marshall battling with the Eagles, and Chacon winds up controlling, and he'll feed a long outlet pass down. Taken by the Storm. And a kick out. Hobbs ball from midfield. And as Middleton will check out, we will have a new Eagle checking into the ball game. Middleton going to take a bit of a breather as now Jose Mesta, the senior, in. And on the throw-in far side, Mesta immediately finds the ball right in the middle of the field. A little stop and go. Feeds it back to Segovia, who feeds it forward. And then Cleveland will take it back. And each team, Hobbs has had more pressure, but we're tied at 1. And another long shot down and a save by Arona. On that far side, DiPolito thought he Hey, if he got one from 40 a few minutes ago, maybe he'll try one from 50. Didn't work. No, it's Segovia. Takes it in and will give it to Sanchez. Sanchez to Mesta, near side, back to Sanchez. They're just going to keep working the ball between them. Back towards midfield. As the Storm is going to let Hobbs kick that one deep into their zone. Big hustle across, and the throw in as it goes out will be Segovia. .19:45 remaining in regulation, all tied at 1, 5A quarterfinals. So on the throw-in, it's going to be again knocked out near center pitch. So Hobbs going to come back and take it over to Sanchez at the 35. The two teams just kind of moving back and forth, trying to get it forward as it goes over towards the far sideline. Cleveland looking for a little room, don't get it. It'll be an out, but it will be Cleveland Storm throw-in. That'll be DiPolito over on the far side to throw it in next to his own bench. 19:05 remaining here in regulation, all tied at 1. If we're tied at the end of regulation, we will have a sudden death overtime, 2 of those. I believe they call it sudden victory officially. But old habits die hard. Teams tied after the 2 overtime periods, of course, then we would have a 5-player shootout to determine who moves on. All tied at 1, 18.5 minutes to play in regulation. Ball out over the back line, and I do believe it will be a free kick for the Storm. And now it'll be time for the Hobbs defense to try and step things up from the back corner in towards goal, as Arona going to go up at the goal line and just corral that one. And he's going to let everybody clear before he sends it back down. As he'll kick it out. As Mestas goes over his head, but off of the head of Murray and out near side. So now it'll be, I thought Chavez was going to throw it in. He's going to go to the far side, and Chavez actually going to check out as Omari Patton will come in for the Eagles. Patton listed as a defenseman, but plays very good offensive ball too. He'll go into one of the forward positions. So Sanchez will toss it in, controlled by Segovia, who sends it into the middle for Martinez. Hobbs just going to try and collect their thoughts for a minute. They continue to move it forward, move around, trying to get some sustained offensive pressure. As the header going to go out off of a Storm player. So it'll be Hobbs' ball with 17 minutes remaining in regulation. It'll be a corner kick for the Eagles from the northwest corner of the stadium. Hobbs moving from the south to the north, Cleveland from the north to the south. So the corner kick on the far side, Hobbs stacking everybody up in front of the goal line. So send it in, and it'll go over the top of the net. And will be Cleveland ball. Should be, I'm thinking. From the near corner. Clock continues to move with 16:20 remaining in regulation. Our coverage today brought to you by J&J Rentals and Credo Energy right here in Hobbs at 7807 World Drive, North World Drive. So the corner kick for the Eagles, sending it towards the goal, and off the header it'll go out over the goal. And back onto the feet of the Cleveland Storm. 15.5 minutes remaining in regulation as Armijo will send it back into play. We are all knotted up at 1. So Armijo sends it in. Mestas will take it off the chest, and it'll wind up near side. Both teams trying to find a little bit of running room to work. They've both done a pretty nice job clogging things up, especially in the middle. So Cleveland with a little room to work now as they are going to feed it near side, trying to get a streaking Parrish. Parrish takes it off the foot. Hobbs, nice job getting back in the defensive side. So Parrish to inbound, gets it into the middle for Aguilar, who's going to feed it back out near midfield. As Patton will come over and pressure the defenseman for the Storm. Mestis will come over to help him. And the Storm will just send it out. It'll be Hobbs' ball on the near side. Ivan Zagovia on the throw-in for the Eagles. 14.5 minutes remaining in regulation. And we will have a player checking back in as Middleton will come back into the ball game, this time for Jose Mesta. So Middleton back in the ball game. And on the throw-in, it'll be Segovia off of the header. Segovia will go back over and bump it back towards Hernandez, who will try and get it started forward for the Eagles. Eagles to Patton, taken away by the Storm and then knocked out on the far sideline. Question is, which team is going to be able to find a little room to work for their strikers or their wings with a right angle to get things in? So on the throw-in, goes over Patton, but Middleton is there for it. And just kicking it back out towards midfield. Hobbs, little stop and go, a long shot in and knocked away at the last second by Armillo as he saw that one from Middleton come in and managed to knock it away. On the throw out. And now Cleveland going to try and return the favor. There's a little room to work there. Moving forward is Ramirez. As the hole's closing up, and now Hobbs will boot it away as Patton back playing center field. Bumps it back to Sanchez, who tries to get it to Middleton, but it'll be intercepted. Now Cleveland coming down the field with Murray, who sends it back to Parrish, who's going to send it back into McNamara, who will then toss it forward again. And the Eagles will retake at least temporary possession. Sanchez trying to get a long one, outlet to Middleton. He is Middleton and McNamara collide on the near side. Going to be saved as coming back up are the Storm with Marshall. And back to the center of the field. Storm ball, and yep, we will have a foul called on that one. The push on Eliud Hernandez, number 16. He checked in just a few moments ago, so it'll be a free kick from out around the 38-yard line, so 48 yards to the goal line. Of course, the soccer pitch, 120 yards long. Not 100 like football, but the numbers here at Watson Stadium are line for football as that one goes over as Arona collides with one of the Storm players, but will get the save. And it'll be a side out and Cleveland ball from the far sideline. Adjust this down a little bit, see if I can keep some of the sun off of myself and the equipment. On the inbound, back out to the middle with Murray, who is going to come near side to Marshall. And now they're just going to feed it back. And throwing it into the middle. Cleveland trying to get a little room, and it'll go out on the far side. And so back over to the Eagles as Patton checks out. And checking back into the ball game will be Yahir Chacon. So it'll be Hobbs' ball. So Arona to send the ball back on its way and back into play. to the Storm, back to the Eagles, playing near midfield. Martinez boots it forward. Pressure, trying to find some room in the middle. Finally to Middleton out around the 30-yard line. Takes it from the right to the left, and then he'll just have to feed it back. Pressure too much. Out of the far sideline. Trying to get it into the middle with Chacon, who bounces it forward. On the run towards it is Hernandez, as it'll go out of the back. 9:55 to go. Here in regulation, all tied at 1. Eagles and the Storm. In this semifinal matchup, winner moves on. Or rather, quarterfinals, winner moves to the semifinals. Armijo with the long inbound kick. Ball just going to be popped up and out over by the Hobbs bench. 9:30 to go. You got to think the energy level for both of these squads is going to be flagging just a little bit. They've played a much more intense second half. Back towards the middle of the field. Ball still loose and free. But able to control for long periods of time for quite a while. Now Hobbs going to try and assert some control, but just a bad pass into the middle, taken by the Storm. So Marshall feeds it, long cross field pass, and then a bouncer in, an easy shot to handle for Arona. Arona brings it out, and on the drop kick, way back into Cleveland territory. As the Storm trying to find a little bit of room to work. Middleton to Parrish, and then trying to get it to Ramirez. Hobbs defense gets there, back to Parrish. Takes it off the side and then back to the middle. To one of the trailers, who finds a little room through. To the middle with Aguilar. And now to Middleton. He's got some room and tries it off the side and will kick it free. Cleveland they want a penalty kick. Don't think they're going to get it. Sorry, as the camera starts moving around maybe a little more than it should. Yeah, pretty good battle inside between Marshall and I believe that was Sanchez in there. Not going to get the penalty kick they want. So 7:40 remaining in regulation. Arona will send it away. To midfield off the back and to Middleton. The battle across the field, and it'll be a throw-in for the Storm. The Storm handle it, but Hobbs will just pop it out to Chacon and then out. The Hobbs sub awaits to check into the ball game. Cleveland ball and another side out, so Cleveland keeps it back. 7:03 to go in regulation, all tied at 1. 5A quarterfinals here at Watson Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. To the far sideline, Cleveland with a weird bad angle shot on the far side by Parrish and just boots it out. So it'll be Hobbs' ball. With Arona to send it back on its way here momentarily. With 6 minutes remaining, just a little soft kick in, and we'll have a whistle. It was here, maybe in the background, coaches hollering, bring the pressure. They both want that. I guess they weren't ready, so now it'll be a kick in for Arona. He'll move it in. And the Eagles going to try and get something free with Middleton. Feed it forward onto the far side and have a collision out around the 5-yard line, and the ball will go out. Should be a corner kick for the Eagles on that far corner. 5:49 remaining in the half. And in regulation, for that matter. Something tells me we may get those overtime periods. At least one of them. So on the kick in, it is loose right in front of the net, and it'll be kicked away by Marshall. He gets it up to midfield. Is moving through, trying to find a little room, are the Storm. Back over, and Marshall will start it back forward again for Cleveland. To Parrish, near side, to Marshall. On him very tight is Chacon. Now back to John Murray, who's seen significant time in this second half. Cleveland trying to get some pressure. To the middle, trying to get a little room, Parrish. Then he feeds it through, and trying to break free are the Storm. Hobbs just going to have to kick it out of trouble. The Storm starting to pick up the pressure on Hobbs. Murray in a long kick in and field goal, but you don't get credit for 3 points in soccer if it goes through the uprights. So 4.5 remaining. As Arona takes a quick drink and tosses it off to one of his running mates, and we got a cramp on the field. So while we have a moment, a little stoppage time, say a big thank you to our friends at J&J Reynolds and Credo Energy, our exclusive partners, making it possible to bring you this 5A quarterfinal game here at Watson Stadium today. J&J Reynolds and Credo Energy now hiring. Go see them, find out all about it at 7807 North World Drive here in Hobbs. Give them a call, 575-391-0250. I'm TJ Miracle, flying solo here this afternoon. And thank you for flying with us today. Of course, this is exclusive coverage of Hobbs and Cleveland, with rights purchased from the New Mexico Activities Association by Walmart Broadcasting Corporation. Of course, we are on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Hobbs Eagle football team getting a big win last night against the Cleveland Storm, against the Carlsbad Cavemen, finishing up the regular season. Football playoffs will start next week. Something tells me the Eagle football team will have a bye. Of course, those seeds will be released tonight, late this evening. Football playoffs will start next week, but I bet Hobbs has a bye. Of course, be sure you tune in to Kicks 103, KZOR, KPZA, Eagle 100.5, Cool 95.7 on Monday for the latest. All right, after the injury timeout, of course, no matter where the Hobbs football team is playing, you'll be able to hear that with Ty Friend on Cool 95.7 and here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Do subscribe to that YouTube channel. So now Arona will send it in after the injury stoppage. And back to center field. Midfield, I should say. And Cleveland will control. Cleveland was really picking up the intensity before that injury stoppage. See if they can handle that, or if Hobbs will try and answer with the intensity. Under 4 minutes to play in regulation, all knotted up at 1 apiece. Cleveland trying to find a little room and a little space, and just kind of a little lazy pass. Hobbs again trying to find something, in a long outlet pass down the pitch, and knocked away at the last moment by Rolls into the near side. Again, the camera's going a little wonky here, and I apologize about that. So it'll be a throw-in for the Eagles, should be, from the near side. And on the inbound, it'll be Segovia. Segovia on the inbound and throws it into no man's land, trying to get it to Josh Chavez. There's Murray off the header, but it'll be back to the Eagles. Into the near side with Jesus Lopez, feeds it across the middle, trying to get it to Chavez. As the teams just kind of trade the ball a little bit. Back in the Cleveland third of the field, as Murray feeds it back to the middle, but Hobbs will take it over. And both teams just kind of playing a little slow-down ball right now, trying to find something, anything to go as Cleveland runs, and they're trying to take it in with Ramirez, and it'll be knocked away at the last minute. The Storm wanting another shot at a penalty kick, not going to get it. It was a clean tackle and block by the Eagles. Good hustle across the pitch by Segovia. 2:18 remaining in regulation. It'll be a corner kick for the Storm. A dangerous moment here for the Eagles. They're going to space everybody out. Look for them to maybe try and go towards the back, and they're going to go towards the middle, and it'll be headed out by the Eagles as it'll come to the near side. And we've got a collision, and one of the Storm players is down on the near side after the collision with Jesus Lopez. That was Juan Ramirez. So it'll be a throw-in for the Storm. If it's going to be, nope, it'll be Aguilar to throw it in. As we are, I believe, now in extra time. Of course, should the game remain tied, we will go to a sudden death overtime, a 10-minute period, 2 of those, before a 5-minute shootout, or rather a 5-man shootout. They're going to place the ball and prepare for Dominic Aguilar. I think they're going to give him, they're going to give Aguilar, I think, the free kick from the near sideline. As, yep, that looks like exactly what they're going to do. So one of the officials going to speak with one of the Eagles, Segovia. And so now we will have a free kick from Aguilar on the near sideline as he'll kick it towards, and Arona cuts off the angle and takes the ball back. We are in extra time here in this 5A quarterfinal matchup. So Arona will kick it away. Hobbs going to try and get one more push late in stoppage time. As it's going to be in the Hobbs Eagle end. And just sending it out near midfield, and it'll be Cleveland ball. And Marshall on the throw-in from the near sideline. All tied at 1 in extra time. As the Eagles and Middleton save it. Going to try and get one more press here late. Feed it forward, but nobody home, and the Storm will control it deep in their own end with Rolls to Murray. And it'll come out, and it'll be Hobbs on the throw-in. Again, we are in extra time, all tied at 1. The overtime periods to come as that one is fed towards the goal line. And grabbing it up is Armijo, who will then just kick it out towards midfield. And Hobbs again going to try get a little more push. Both teams going to try for one more push here in stoppage time as the whistle sounds, and that will do it for regulation. At the end of regulation, we are all tied at 1 apiece. So we will have potentially two 10-minute overtime periods. It is sudden death. So first goal win should we still be tied at the end of that 10-minute period. Those two 10-minute periods, we will have a 5-person shootout. So, hey, what would you expect? It is the playoffs. It is the quarterfinals in 5A. We will take a quick timeout, and we will come back with your first overtime period. We are all tied at 1. 5A quarterfinals from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. And welcome back to Hobbs Eagle Soccer from New Mark Digital and One Radio Square Sports. I'm TJ Miracle flying solo here at Watson Stadium in this 5A quarterfinal matchup between the Eagles and the Storm. Our coverage this afternoon brought to you exclusively by J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. J&J Rentals and Credo Energy now hiring. Check them out online on the J&J Rentals Facebook page or go see them at 7807 North World Drive. All tied at 1 apiece, and we are in the first extra time period. So 2 10-minute sudden death overtime periods. Well, one, if somebody scores within 10 minutes, the game's over. We need a second one, we'll do that. If should be scoreless after that, we would go into the 5-person shootout. How did we get here? Well, Yahir Chacon with 9:47 in the second scored the Eagles' lone goal off of an assist from Ryan Middleton. For the Cleveland Storm, Christian DiPolito with 13:17 of the second half. He scored the goal from on a long kick. So we are all tied at 1, and it is sudden death as the teams will come out. They will stay on the same side of the field in which they ended. I think I've got the score bug caught up now. Phone overheated as the sun starts streaming in. So the Storm will start off with possession. 10-minute first overtime period. First to score wins. So Hobbs soccer. They'll get it to Middleton at midfield as he is going to be pressured and lose the ball to Murray. Murray near side to Marshall. Hobbs' defense going to try and collapse in on him. Now to Ramirez, to a streaking Marshall, and he will send in a wide angle kick, sends it towards the middle, and then kicked away by the Hobbs defense. Now Hobbs going to try and get a little running room on the near side. Coming over is Hernandez. Hernandez to Sanchez, who bobbles the ball, and it'll be out on the near side off of, I believe that was Parrish. That's it was. So it'll be Hobbs' ball. And so the inbound will be made by Middleton on the throw-in. 1 minute gone in the first overtime period. Midland will toss it down the sideline. And trying to move it in is Sanchez, but the ball will go out. So it'll go back to the Cleveland Storm. Armijo sets it on the goal line, or on the box line, I should say. We'll boot it away as he directs traffic. He'll come up and send the ball back into play. Hobbs going to head it back into Cleveland territory and then come over as Middleton on a slide job by John Murray. Back towards center field. We've got a big collision at midfield. And I think they're going to say, I don't know who they're going to say. Yep, they're going to say free kick for the Storm. 8 minutes remaining in the first overtime. First to score wins. We can play 2 overtimes, then we would go to a 5-person shootout. Most exciting thing in sport. So a long kick down to Arona, and a attempted bicycle kick is out. So it should be Hobbs' ball on the end line. Is Arona going to bring it out to the box line. All tied at 1, 7.5 to go in the first overtime. Both teams came out flat in the game and then picked up the intensity in the first half of the second half. And I think both of them expended a whole lot of energy. So who's got enough left in the tank for these overtimes? As Marshall feeds it into the middle, but it'll be kicked away. And forward as Middleton will bring it up the center of the field, looking for some room. Tries to take it away and is going to be knocked over. Hobbs wanting the penalty kick, not going to get it. And back into the Hobbs defensive zone where Sanchez will pop it towards the middle. Running forward, Cleveland controls now with Ruiz, but taken away by Sanchez. Or pardon me, that was by Hernandez, and a long kick towards the goal, and it'll go over the goal and out. So Hobbs' ball. 6.5 remaining, first overtime. So Arona to send it back into play. As Arona waits to put it back in. With one of the fans for the Storm brought a PA speaker with him. As the ball go out, it'll be Storm ball on the throw-in, right at midfield. On the throw-in, they're just going to work that far sideline, it would appear, for the moment. So Cleveland trying to get some pressure put in. As running it towards the middle, winding up with it is Murray. As they try and get it near side to Marshall. Marshall to it. But nice job coming over by the Eagles to kick it away, but a whistle sounds, and we may have a free kick for Hobbs, I'm thinking, as Marshall comes over and has a word with the official. 5:19 remaining here in this first overtime, all tied at 1. It will be Hobbs' ball from the deep right corner. So the throw in for the Eagles, actually be the free kick from the sideline. The Eagles just going to send it back towards Arona, and they will reset. And Arona just going to send it out on the near side. So a throw in for Cleveland. So the Cleveland Storm on the throw in, it'll be John Murray. And Murray, well, he's just going to come over and collect the ball. And he will hand it off to Marshall, who will do the throw-in. So Marshall throws it in into Hobbs traffic. And it'll be out again. The Eagles right now look like they're playing a little tight and a little tentative. The Storm putting on much more pressure here in this overtime period. So as Middleton and Murray collide, no call. Is weaving through traffic, trying to get it into the middle is Ramirez. And we will have a free kick for the Eagles. As the whistle sounds, as Ramirez battling with Sanchez up about the 30-foot line. So a free kick for the Eagles, and it'll be Arona who will take that free kick. 3:40 remaining here in the first overtime period. Puts it out at the 22. And we'll boot it towards midfield. But back onto the foot of the Storm. Now Parrish. So try and work his way through traffic. Cleveland will control it on the near sideline. Then a long outlet pass to the far side. And just a little pop shot that'll go wide and out. Hobbs' ball. Again, Hobbs had one good look early in this overtime period, but have been unable to get any sustained pressure on Cleveland, as Cleveland has picked their intensity up. We are under 3 minutes to go in the first overtime period. As Arona will kick it back out. A line drive that will wind up going out on the far side. And so back to the Hobbs Eagles. 1-1 in this first overtime period. 2:30 to go in the first of what could be 2 overtimes. And then we would go to the shootout. Now the Eagles going to try and move it down. As Sanchez moves it, kicks it towards the middle, gets it back, and a man breaks free. In on the goal, and Armijo will stop a good shot from Sanchez and saves it and will sidearm sling it out. Hobbs, a great look there, but I think maybe Sanchez took it just a little bit deep before he tried to shoot it. So on the side out, 2 minutes remaining. Now we're in the stoppage time in the overtime. Cleveland ball. If they don't score in the extra time, if neither team scores, we will play one more 10-minute overtime period before we go to the shootout. There's the shootout, whether it is soccer or hockey, called the most exciting spectacle in sport. As on the inbound, it'll come out to the 10-yard line. Trying to feed it in was Murray. Hobbs' defense will just bump it out. Back out near midfield. Parrish will look for some help, and he'll just have to feed it backwards. Coming in is Murray, trying to get it again into the middle, and now Middleton will take it. Middleton on the run. Through center, but loses the ball. And now Cleveland on the attack with Ramirez. Ramirez a little hesitation. Then to Aguilar, and Aguilar kicks it in, and it'll be knocked away, and that was the whistle. And will we have a penalty kick, or is that the end of the period? And yep, they're going to say penalty kick. Will it be decided on a free kick? That is the question, and it is Cleveland's free kick. So Cleveland going to have another opportunity, one last opportunity. You've got to think here in extra time of the first overtime, all tied at 1. One all in the overtime as the officials talking to the Hobbs players at around the 5-yard line. So a free kick as we get late into stoppage time here in the first overtime. And the free kick is going to come up, heads towards and through the uprights and over. So the Eagles survive that onslaught. Should have time maybe for one more press here in stoppage time. As a late sub comes in. Of course, should this first overtime end scoreless, we will have a second 10-minute overtime. So Arona to send it away. We'll send it out towards midfield where it'll be headed by the Storm and comes to the near side. It'll be corralled by Marshall, who feeds it forward to an attacking Ruiz, but taken away by the Eagles, and will go out in the back right corner. And whistle sound, and I do believe that will do it for our first overtime period. So, hey, we haven't had enough in a full game plus. Well, let's play another overtime. We will take a quick timeout and remind you this is brought to you by our friends at J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. Portable toilets, trash trailers, roll-offs, holding tanks, and more. J&J Rentals and Credo Energy, proud to be our exclusive sponsor of Hobbs Eagle State Playoff Soccer. Of course, the rights to this broadcast purchased from the New Mexico Activities Association. So we'll be back in about 90 seconds for the start of overtime number 2. We are all knotted at 1. This is Hobbs Eagle Playoff Soccer from New Walmart Digital and One Radio Square Sports on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Welcome back to Watson Stadium. It is time for overtime number 2. Wasn't enough to settle it in 40 minutes or 50 minutes, so let's try it in 60. I'm TJ Miracle, high above Watson Stadium, flying solo this afternoon here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel and HobbsAmerica.com. The Walmart Digital, proud to bring you this broadcast from J&J Rentals and Credo Energy under the auspices of the New Mexico Activities Association, in which we did purchase the rights from the NMAA, exclusive rights obtained for this matchup. Winner moves on, loser calls it a season. If 10 more minutes isn't enough to do it, well, then we will go to the shootout as the teams swap ends of the field. It'll be Hobbs ball to start things off in overtime number 2. 10 minutes to see if we can decide this one. It is sudden death in overtime. So the two teams spent the first half and the first overtime just kind of feeling each other out. It was the second where the offenses came to life. As Hobbs controls, giving it back, and we should have a free kick on the far side, as getting knocked over on that far side was Marshall. So Marshall, is he going to have the free kick? Nope, it'll be Hobbs ball. They're going to come over. They're going to yellow card Marshall. Yes, they are. They're going to yellow card Marshall. And that's a big loss for Cleveland. So during the collision, something must have been said, something unsportsmanlike. Marshall has played a whale of a game, and so that'll give Hobbs the free kick. Back in their third of the field. So the Hobbs Eagles going to put the boot in it, as they have stopped the clock with 9:14 to go in the second overtime. We are still tied at 1 apiece. So the Eagles going to try and get a little offensive rush going. They'd like to end this one early in this second overtime. And on the free ball in, comes back towards midfield. Eagles going to try and work on their control of it. And a big collision on the far sideline, and go out of bounds. No penalty kick. It'll just be a side in for the Storm. Nope, it will be a free kick for the Storm, so we will have a penalty there. So ball going to be spotted on the 25-yard line. And the kick comes towards the middle. Hobbs will get it off the header into the near side with Middleton. Middleton to Patton, but it'll be stolen away. Pardon me, that's not Middleton. That's Andrick Morales checking into the ball game, then to the near side and out. Cleveland ball on the toss in. So the throw in, trying to work it towards the middle of the field. Back over on the near side. It'll be DiPolito, who has the goal for the Storm. And it will be Storm ball on the throw in. DiPolito to throw it in. As we await the game ball to come back over. DiPolito asking for where he's supposed to throw it in. Official tells him go out to about the 10. So they will throw it in. And the ball comes back, and Hobbs going to boot it out of their offensive zone, and it'll go out back at the midfield stripe, where Cleveland will throw it in with John Murray. And so after taking a deep breath, Familetta will check out, and coming back in will be Jack Marshall, who got a yellow card earlier. Well, he sat down to cool off for a little bit. So to DiPolito, he has the goal for the Storm. He'll find a little room, sends it towards the middle, and Arona going to have to run out and drop on it and fall on it. Make sure that one stays out of harm's way. 7 minutes remaining, overtime number 2. We are still knotted at 1 apiece. It is sudden death overtime. As Arona sends it back down the field, Middleton tries to corral it, but it winds up with the Storm. So the Storm will move it through with Aguilar. Into the near side with DiPolito. Coming over to challenge him is Aguilar, who knocks it away, but Cleveland will take it back. To McNamara, who gets it to DiPolito, who feeds it forward to Parrish, then back to the middle. And Hobbs going to try and take it back as Aguilar off the side of his foot, near center, and then it'll be Chacon who has the Eagle goal. He controls, trying to keep it away from pressure, and it'll be stolen away by the Storm. They've got a 2-on-2. As feeding it towards the middle, doing a nice job getting a foot on that, knocking it away is Hidalgo. And it will go into the hands of the Hobbs keeper, Isel Arona, the senior keeper for Hobbs. Arona on the drop kick will send it back out. Cleveland's defense and McNamara. They'll take it. Now Hobbs will send it back, and they'll try and find a little bit of an offensive push here with 5:40 remaining in the the second overtime. There will be some stoppage time at the end. A long outlet going to go to the back right corner, back left corner, and out. The back left corner and out. And it'll be throw in for Hobbs, I do believe. 5:14 to go, halfway just about through this second overtime. If we stay knotted at one apiece, we will go to a 5-player shootout to determine the winner. I don't think either team particularly wants that, although both keepers have not been particularly tested. They have both made some good stops, only letting one past them. So Hobbs feeds it forward back to midfield where Cleveland will take over. They try and put on an attack here. Of course, this is sudden death. First goal wins, and we will have a big bump as Aguilar goes down hard as a collision back at the 40-yard line. He is down, and he is not feeling good. It'll be a free kick for the Eagles as Marshall getting talked to by one of the officials again. And I think we are going to have a stoppage here. So 4.5 to go in regulation, all tied at 1. As one of the Eagles is down, and that's actually Jorge Martinez. So Martinez is up, but got rattled pretty good. J&J Reynolds Credo Energy making it possible for us to bring you today's game here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel and HobbsAmerica.com. I'm TJ Miracle, high above Watson Stadium, flying solo this afternoon. As the Eagles and the Storm battling to see who moves on into the Final Four. These two teams played to a 1-all draw back a couple of months ago in the regular season. So on the free kick, it's loose down in the Cleveland end and out. So Hobbs will have it on a throw-in from the far side. 4:15 remaining regulation. Of course, there will be stoppage time at the end of regulation time in the overtime, should it be needed. So Ryan Middleton on the throw-in. Middleton will toss it towards the middle and over the head of everybody in Cleveland. Try and pop it out. Sanchez with it. He'll send a bouncing ball in, and it'll be knocked away at the last possible second by Armijo. As Sanchez sent it that way, but Armijo managed to get it stopped. The ball takes kind of a funny hop and will go out across the way next to the Hobbs bench. Throw in for the Storm. And it'll be Marshall to throw it in with 3:20 remaining in this second overtime period. Marshall works against Middleton. He'll move it to McNamara, and it'll go out off of the foot of Middleton. Quick throw in. Cleveland trying to get it towards the middle to get something working. So back near side, McNamara going to tee it up, send it in off of the foot of Sanchez, who's just going to boot it away and back out towards the middle. So Cleveland will have a chance to recollect and try and reset. 2:43 remaining regulation. To DiPolito, who has the Storm goal, and we'll have a free kick as Middleton got a hip check on Aguilar, looks like. So it'll be a free kick from about the 18-yard line for Cleveland. Not what Hobbs wanted to see. They've done a nice job on free kicks, but it was from about this range. Not on a free kick, though, where DiPolito managed to find the back of the net against Arona. 2.5 remaining in this second overtime period. Be a little more than that with stoppage time. And so the free ball going to come in. Hobbs and Cleveland lining up. Going to get a set play going. And they're telling Josh Chavez he's got to move out. He's laying down right at the back of the legs of his forwards. So this could very well be for a winner, depending on what happens. And the kick goes through, and it will go wide. So Hobbs dodges a bullet as the kick goes wide from Murillo Aguilar. As the Hobbs fans showing their appreciation as they snaked that one wide. So now Arona will send it back down. The Eagles going to try and get one more big press in before we go to the shootout. One apiece here late in the second overtime. As Arona sends it away, the ball goes bouncing, and Cleveland going to control. Hobbs has just been dodging bullets this second overtime. Cleveland with much better looks and much better chances. Hobbs putting the pressure on their defense. Now Hobbs going to steal it away, but immediately turn it right back over to the Storm. Trying to get it into the middle. The Storm lose the ball, but just nobody back to outlet for Hobbs as Middleton takes it but doesn't get it out. The Storm control, and Middleton will just bump it away off of the shins. So it'll be throw in for the Storm and McNamara. We are in stoppage time here in the second overtime. It stays knotted at 1. Shot in, nice block made by Martinez. And just a little bouncing ball, and Arona going to have to come up and field it himself. So into stoppage time. We end. Nobody scores in the extra time. We will go to a 5-player shootout to determine who moves on. And so Cleveland going to try and mount another attack. Hobbs going to try and survive one more rush. Not able to get a rush going themselves in this second overtime period. So it's a foot race down into the right corner and blocked away. And so Cleveland to throw it in. Again, we are in stoppage time, second overtime. And it is sudden death. If you only play 2 overtimes, it would go to a 5-player shootout if no one scores in this extra time. And whistles sound, and that will do it for regulation and extra time. So that means we go to the most exciting spectacle in sport. That is the shootout. 5 players, alternating shots. Team with the most after 5 will win the game. So it comes down to a shootout to determine who moves on and who goes home. 5A quarterfinals from Watson Stadium here on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Please subscribe and tell your family and friends, and also on HobbsAmerica.com. Our coverage today from J&J Rentals and Credo Energy. Credo Energy, J&J Rentals now hiring. Give them a call, 575-391-0250 or 7807 North World Drive in Hobbs. Your provider for portable toilets, trash trailers, roll-offs, holding tanks, and more. And, of course, all of the energy services that you need. Credo Energy and J&J Rentals, proud supporters of Hobbs Eagles soccer. So I'm going to take a quick breath while we get this one set up for the 5-player shootout. And we'll see who moves on and who goes home. This is Hobbs Eagle Playoff Soccer. played regulation, we've played 2 overtime periods, and now it comes down to a shootout between the Hobbs Eagles and the Cleveland Storm to determine who moves on in the 5A playoffs. I'm TJ Miracle. Thanks for being with us on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel and HobbsAmerica.com. I once asked legendary hockey coach Don McKee what the secret to a shootout was, and now this is a hockey answer and not necessarily the soccer answer, but I have to think that it applies. And what Coach Don McKee told me was you find guys who can hit it hard and are not scared to try. Nothing wrong with that. And then he also added, pray your goalie is on his game. Well, Arona has definitely been on his game today, as has his counterpart, Joaquin Armijo. So 5 shots to win it. 5 per team. Each team will send 5 shooters at the goal, a one-on-one matchup. So who in the end will get the win? So the shootout, the most exciting spectacle in sport. And of course they are going to go to that far side, the south side of the stadium, where I have to move in, and it is shooting into the sun. I will endeavor to do the best I can. So the shootout, 5 players per side, and it looks like the Hobbs Eagles will take the first shot at Armijo. So is walking up for the first of the mano-a-mano battles. And again, I wish we were playing the other way, but it is what it is. So one-on-one battle, as it'll be Yahir Chacon, or pardon me, that's Alexis Sanchez, the sophomore. He will take the first shot in the shootout. Best of 5 in the shootout. So Chacon, or pardon me, Sanchez, Alexis Sanchez will set it up. And so mano-a-mano, one-on-one, as Sanchez prepares to go against Armijo. First shot of the shootout. Sanchez gets the whistle, gets the signal, comes in, boots it, and it is knocked away at the last second by Armijo. So Sanchez is denied, and so our score stays at 1-all. So now it will be the turn of the Cleveland Storm, as they will go up against Isel Arona. And it does appear that that'll be Brian Ramirez who will take the first shot for the Storm. And so to take the shot will be Ramirez. He works against Arona. First opportunity for the Storm in the shootout. And the shot is through, and that will put Cleveland up 1-0 in the shootout. Of course, it is a best of 5, but Cleveland now up 1-0 in the shootout. Ramirez didn't do anything fancy. He just went over to the left side, which I've got to think is probably the offhand side for Arona, and banged it through. So coming up for the Hobbs Eagles to take their next shot against Armijo, it'll be number 2, the junior Josh Chavez. So Chavez will try and tie this one up at 1 apiece. Chavez comes through. He'll put it over, and knocked away at the last minute by Armijo. So Hobbs 2 shooters down and 1 behind going into the second shot for Cleveland. Cleveland up 1-0 in the shootout. And their next shooter will come and place it down. I believe that is John Murray. If he'll turn around, I can catch his number, and we'll see for sure. It may be Marshall. And so The shot is going to be through, and that is up, and that is in. Pardon me, that was Dominic Aguilar. And so now the Eagles are down 2-0 in the shootout. They have to make this one. They don't have to, but if not, the next shot that goes in for Cleveland would win it. So it will all come down to Humberto Hernandez for the Eagles. So Hernandez to put the Hobbs Eagles into the next round. Comes up, and he will just sneak it through as Humberto Hernandez, the junior defenseman, puts it through and makes it 2-1 in the shootout. And they're going to say no. They're going to make him re-kick it. They told him they were not ready yet. So Hernandez is going to have to take another shot at it. He'll come up and he will put it through. A little soccer karma. So he gets it to the right the first time, to the left the next time. And now it is 2-1 in favor of the Storm. And coming out will be Jack Marshall to take the third shot for the Storm. If he makes it, it becomes must-make on the next for Hobbs. I apologize about the glare on the lens. Nothing I can do about it this time of day. They are going to the south end zone, and the sun is coming down right on this angle. Now Jack Marshall to put Hobbs in a must-make situation. And the kick is through as Marshall will bang it home. And so now it is must-make for the Hobbs Eagles. So it is now 3-1 in the shootout. Must-make time for the Eagles. So our shootout score 3-1. If Hobbs misses, it is over. If they can make it, Cleveland will have to take another shot. So to keep Hobbs' season alive, Yahir Chacon, who scored at the quarter pole of the second half to keep the Eagles' season alive. Chacon goes in, bangs it, and it is off the crossbar and over. And the Hobbs Eagles lose in the shootout 3-1 to end their season. And the Cinderella story that is the Cleveland Storm continues as they have now gone in as the 12th seed and have won 2 consecutive games, knocking off both 4 and 5 in the state. 1-1 in regulation, but it ends 3-1 in the shootout to end the Hobbs Eagles season. For the Eagles, they are going to lose a lot of seniors who have meant an awful lot to this program, including goalkeeper Marcel Arona, Jose Mestis, Jesus Lopez, Yahir Chacon, Ryan Middleton, Jesus Hidalgo, Ivan Segovia, Killian Morales, all going to be moving on as seniors on this squad, but they have left a legacy for the Hobbs Eagles as the Eagle program will continue on, but the Eagle season continues, or rather ends, in a shootout as Cleveland wins the shootout by a final of 3-1. And with that, my friends, we will put a wrap on this one. 1-1 in regulation, but the shooters just too much in the shootout for the Eagles as Cleveland will win this one in the shootout. Our coverage this afternoon has been brought to you by J&J Rentals and Credo Energy, 7807 North World Drive. We appreciate their help and support. With rights granted by the NMAA and purchased from the NMAA by New Walmart Digital, I'm TJ Miracle saying so long from Watson Stadium. This has been an exclusive presentation of New Walmart Broadcasting and One Radio Square Sports. Have a safe and happy Halloween weekend, everybody. Good night.